I'm gonna put a little bit out here on some stuff. It's be a little out there, and I know people love conspiracies. And I know one big word that's always out there is about the mafia, right? Big movies and stuff like that. People always get interested in that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna throw this out here anyway. I don't care if it's public because I really don't care. Um, I wanted to I think some people know probably some of the strongest mafia probably is Russian. They're Jewish, mostly. And they don't like that lunkhead Putin, of course. What I did find interesting is, one of the guys, I don't know if this is the same guy, but, I don't know how many funky names there are out there that have these same names, but this guy right here, I don't know if it's him, same name. That was one of the guys we were working with, and but it could have possibly brought a lot of money into the country. So I don't care. Basically, I think the guy that was getting screwed over was Putin. So screw you, Putin. I don't give a shit. But it's pretty interesting. I don't know how many common this name is. I mean, in the United States, there's probably only like two of them in the whole United States. And the guy I used to work for years ago, there's like only one or two in the United States with that name. So I ain't gonna throw that out here either. But yeah, they're a lot more powerful than you think. But they got a lot of assets. A lot of assets. Russia's a very natural resource country, and there's a lot of Russians that are very bright people. But unlike some of the stuff you see with in the movies, they'll use this word because it's a big media hype. But if you actually say the mafia, you could say George Bush Senior, George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, right? Hillary Clinton. There's the mafia. I mean, what the hell, man? It's a bunch of garbage. It's a word they throw out there left and right. But usually it's more aggressive entrepreneur type people that just get sick of the BS that goes on in the system. So a lot of times I don't know. I mean, what I find out a lot of times these guys are really like hammered because it's a big, the real mafia, the government gets them. I can point out though, this guy Provenzano actually, yeah, I guess Anthony. always, we always, it was always Tony Provenzano. Actually, where I lived, I went to school with his daughter, Josephine, and what was kind of funny was, it's a joke and a half because well, at the time, we were small kids. We used to think like, yeah, he got in trouble for some garbage with the Teamsters, and he wasn't guilty or nothing like that. We didn't know nothing. And well, I don't know. I mean, actually, to tell you the truth, there's a lot of they always play up these guys like they're the worst people in the world. And actually, I find that there's a lot of government lunkheads that are probably 100 times worse. 100 times worse, really, in reality. But what I find interesting is that his daughter Josephine, she became the head of the Teamsters one time later, and she wasn't doing. I don't know. I lost total contact. This was like when we were like in school, kids and stuff, because they didn't live that far away actually, and that was a long time ago, but I always kind of found that interesting. But they used to follow her around like all the time, like the federal people, like she was a mafia person. It was a bunch of garbage, And I think this family's mainly in porn, And actually, I know a guy that does, he films it and stuff like that over here in Florida. So with Bang Brothers, so. But I tell you right now, a lot of this supposed bad side is not the bad side. It's not. Actually, it's the lunkheads with the rule freaks. They really are. They're about the worst ones going. They are. They're lunkheads from hell. And even when you see this type of stuff, you know, the organized crime. Well, the biggest organized crime is the amount of money Putin steals from these guys. You know, I mean, yeah, maybe he's a crook himself, but you know what? Putin's a bigger crook. A bigger crook. He's the biggest crook in the world. And you know, I'm kind of glad that even Hillary Clinton is getting after this guy, because I ain't no fan of Hillary Clinton, but Putin is a damn crook. He's a dictator and he's a crook, and you know, it's actually a worse situation with him than even these guys. Um, you know, I'm picking out a name here. I don't know nothing about this, but I know my cousin's ex with his gambling thing. He used to work with these guys, but he made a lot of money. He got banned from all the casinos over in Atlantic City, and you know, he'd walk in there and they'd ban him. You know, if he was that good. Well, it was my uncle that actually taught him a lot of that stuff, but he really picked up on it a lot more. So it does tell me there's a way to make money in the markets. You know, there is a way to make money. That's why I got my belief on this stuff right now. But a lot of this stuff about the mafia is a lot of drama stuff. You know, it's like the real mafia is the government. It is. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it, man. You know, they always like to play up these characters so they look like a bunch of saints. You know, but you know. Yeah, I know this was a story with Jimmy Hoffa, and we used to joke that, you know, Jimmy Hoffa was buried in the Meadowlands, and I don't know, there were so many stories about that stuff. But actually, when you're taking what goes on in the military and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. It's actually far more severe. Like, for instance, my cousin was in Iraq, and he was a Marine Corps sniper, but he was actually a political sniper. And it's different from the normal sniper. It's they got to do like 7 verifications before they take somebody out. You know, so he was getting rid of Iranians that were, you know, infiltrating, you know, the Shiites that were infiltrating Iraq. He was getting rid of them. He was getting rid of them. And you know, it's weird. I mean, you know, you do that in the military, you're a hero. But if you do something, you know, like I said, you know, I don't really know. That's what I said. In the military, you're a hero, but otherwise, if it's sanctioned in a uniform, it's 100% fine. You know, because you're doing it in the money interest of somebody else. So, you know, I kind of look at this stuff and I say to myself, it's a load of crap, because the real mafia is the government. It's the government, man. It's the Russian government. It's all the bullshit. You know, Putin's the freaking biggest mafia guy going, and they put these guys out there like they're the worst ones in the world. I just found it interesting that, you know, one of them showed up on here. I don't know if this is the same guy, but I don't know how many names. Maybe in Russia, this name's like John Smith. In the United States, who knows? But there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I'm aware of some things, but the real mafia is the rule freaks. That's a fact. Rule freaks kill freedom.